I'm who you wanna be.
Actually enjoy treating your customers like a piece of shit, because that's how I felt when I went to the Alamo Draft House. Okay? You know what? I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to text in your little crappy-ass theater. It was too f***ing dark in that place for me to find my seat, alright? I was using my phone as a flashlight to get to my f***ing seat. So excuse me for using my phone in USA, United States of America, where you are free to text in a theater. I was not aware that I couldn't text in your theater, all right? I've texted in all the other theaters in Austin, and no one ever gave a fuck about what I was doing with my fucking phone, all right? And it was on silent. It wasn't on loud. It wasn't bothering anybody. You guys obviously were being assholes to me. And I'm sure that's what you do, you know, to rip people off. You take my money, and then you throw me out. You know, I will never be coming back to your Alamo Draft House or whatever. I'd rather go to a regular theater where people are actually polite. And, you know, I'm going to tell everyone about how you are. And I'm pretty sure you guys are being on purpose. So thanks for making me feel like a customer. Thanks for taking my money.
It's chocolate. You should be very proud, Detective.
Shut up.
You've made a delicious life for yourself.
Said shut the fudge up. What?
You don't come near here. You stay away from here.
Here he comes.
What?
Are you listening, David? I was saying how much I admire you and your ice creams.
You have incredible taste in fine ice creams.
What the fudge did you just say?
6 delicious flavors. They're so lovely. And once they're gone, David, they're gone.
David, step away from the prisoner. Step away, David. Step away.
What's in the box?
I'm not gonna tell you until
What's in the box? What's in the box?
We each have our weaknesses. It appears that gluttony is my sin of choice. And you add the mystery.
I couldn't resist.
What's in the malted fudging box?
It's empty, David. It's empty.
No. It was full. 6 delicious flavors. Only available this month.
I know. It was delivered to your home. It was delectable.
Do you think anybody's gonna get, like, offended by this?
Just tall white Karens.
Monotony. It comes in all shapes and sizes. Dull, tedious, just plain boring. But what is this? A contender, perhaps? Something unboring by the looks of it. Jabs right at dull, an uppercut to tedium, something that keeps you on your toes, keeps your head on a swivel. A knockout punch to your old, boring workouts. Welcome to Fight Camp.
The Greening the Gateway Cities program provides trees that are planted by DCR foresters and crews hired from local communities. When you sign up as a potential tree recipient, a forester will visit your home or business to determine the best location and species of tree for maximum energy efficiency. Easy care instructions are provided, and it's all free. Find out if you are in the zone and learn more at maurbancanopy.org.
Educational crisis in this country is the civil rights issue of our time.
So you go to Washington, D.C., our capital, right? Go right down the street. Some of the worst schools in America are less than 2 miles from the state capital.
As a family, how was our report card?
Show me a lazy child, I'm gonna show you a lazy parent.
There was that village that was there. It is different.
I mean, because you're dealing at times with a lot of trauma. And that trauma sometimes may be caused by the school, but a lot of times it's outside of school.
It was a very chaotic household. There was always someone yelling, someone fighting, the cops being called.
Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You know calculus, who cares?
If there was any system anywhere that was failing white students to the tune of 83%, the system wouldn't exist anymore. It would have been broken into 1,000,000 pieces.
Now, the expectations for what success are
is so low. Like, we're letting kids make up work, you can make it up, don't worry about it, do it again.
Instead, we make things crutches, and I don't like that.
I think the real issue in education is mediocrity. The person who comes to work every day and just does the job.
You have failed these students. This is child abuse. And those who have abused these children should be held accountable.
Shaolin shadow boxing and the Wu-Tang sword style. If what you say is true, the Shaolin and the Wu-Tang could be dangerous. Do you think your Wu-Tang sword can defeat me?
On guard. I'll let you try my Wu-Tang style.
and some crying eyes. But today's gonna be alright. Today's gonna be alright. Notorious, we notorious. Yeah, we notorious. Yeah, we some warriors. Out here feeling glorious. Yeah, we notorious.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of Reach Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, 2 Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. 2 Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, 2 lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to wreathsacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's wreathsacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
This campaign is about a new vision where our streets are safe, our schools are succeeding, and our local economy is growing. I stand here not as a candidate for mayor, but as a lifelong member of this great city. There will no longer be the city side and the school side. There will only be the Brockton side. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Master Yoda I am. And listen you must to hhas.com.
This is the booth.
Step into the twisted mind of my literature, designed to get into the depths of your mind, administer sickness around to mimic the likes of snuff cinema. What you must get into, you're nothing but pups. Remember you Homer and Happy Simpson, son. Nothing Ithaca. Talkers like the northern half of Korea's peninsula. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister. ESP your island like the booth, something sinister.
All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth. It is July 22nd, and everybody's in the chat dropping their rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. That video was played from 2 weeks ago. That was his farewell performance. He did a final concert 2 weeks ago, and it's crazy enough that he passed away today, 76 years old. We'll talk about that in the entertainment booth. Let me get into my sponsors real quick. Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. If you need your controller fixed, your Xbox controller, get it to him. You're back to gaming 24, 48 hours. My artist, Viana Marie, It's Personal. New project coming out, Blacklisted. Make sure to follow her music. Get those streams up to 500,000. Tactical target system. Those are the zombie targets that you see me with when I'm over at the range. Now I'm at Holbrook Sportsman Range. So if you see me over there, those are the ones that I get. I Love Boston Sports. Marlon Williams, he has a store in South Shore Plaza. Those are the shirts that everybody gets from the Bruins to the Celtics. I Love BostonSports.com. And then Kimberly Ann, Empowerment Photography. Ladies, if you want to take some pictures that you never thought that you would take for a loved one or a special friend or a secret admirer, Kimberly Ann, Empowerment Photography. And then he's already in the chat, Daryl Smith, Underwatch Protective Services. Hey, if you need some mobile patrol, foot patrol, armed guards, unarmed guards, event security, and private security, please reach out to Daryl Smith. He owns the company Underwatch Protective Services. That's a black-owned business out of Boston, but they're picking up a lot of jobs here in the Brockton area. And then call Larry, if you need a handyman services. Hey, this is the guy you reach out to, 774-826-6549. And as we get into the news booth, I just want to touch base on one topic in the news booth before we get into our guests. In the news booth, I've talked about this. This is going to be mentioned every week on this show until this gentleman is caught, and it's a good lead into our first guest. Turn him in. Davinci Leonard, 22 years old, double murder suspect. He is responsible for the horrendous murders up at Urban Air on the day of the soft opening. This kid has already got 2 people put in jail. We told you guys on the show, my legal guys came on here. If you're harboring him or hiding him, you are going to be considered an accessory to this crime, and you will be in jail. We have 2 people right now in jail, a Brockton resident and a Quincy resident. No bail. No bail. Why? Because one of these knuckleheads let him sleep at his house the night of the murders, and then another one also harbored him. Guess what? They're doing time, and this is a great lead-in because I got a guy that's coming on here. He is a longtime Brockton resident. I moved to Brockton in 1978, and I've always been involved with politics due to my dad. We came from Mission Hill, Boston. My dad was always involved with the community. My dad my dad took me around Mission Hill, Boston, and I met guys like Boy Blue. I met guys like, God rest in peace, Mel King, community activists in Boston who were well-known, very well-respected. Then when we came to Brockton, I got involved with people like Dennis Ernie, the Studenskis, the Sweeneys, the Brophies. And now this is a guy who I remember when he first hit the scene in politics, Moises Rodrigues. This is a guy, he's been on the scene representing the Cape Verdean community. You actually were interim mayor after Mr. Bill Carpenter passed away back in 2019 on July 3rd. We just celebrated that anniversary. But you were that interim mayor, and I got to ask you, I really thought that you were going to run. When you took that interim over and then that election came up, I thought you were going to run, and you were like, no, not yet. But now here you are. Let's talk about that real quick.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you and for you to share your time slot with me and a lot of your the folks that are watching us or listening to us. Well, going back to 2019, and it's basically Well, I wasn't a candidate for office. There were a couple young guys running against Bill Carpenter at the time, and he happened to pass. So I actually made a conscious decision that I'd rather take on the 7 months or so of the interim piece, and then wait my turn. And when my time came to come out and run for mayor, I wanted to basically go out and do the 7 months that I did and prove myself to the voters of Brockton that I'm able to do the job. And to be honest with you, I thought I did. I'm not going to say I did a wonderful job, because it shouldn't be up to me to say that. It should be up to people that actually saw or heard what I did to say what I did. I thought I did an okay job during the real rough months that I came in after Bill Carpenter, in the sense. So, I took a back seat in the sense. I went back to the council to continue to run as a city councilor and wait my turn in my time when I was ready to come in and run for mayor. And that's why I decided this past term that it would be my last term in the council, and that I would seek the mayor seat, duly elected by the residents of Brockton, and that's what I'm doing here today.
And like I said, people, if you haven't seen Mr. Rodrigues around, look, you've been sleeping under a rock, because this man has been everywhere. He's been, supporting the community. Like I said, I've known him in this community in politics for a very, very long time. He's had his face out there. We've had him in the studios of WXBR and WBT. But let's roll it back. Let's roll it back to what I was talking about, this tragedy in Davinci Leonard and turning himself in. I see a lot of people, and I hate social media, because there's a lot of people who put stuff out on social media, and then there's a lot of people who believe everything they read. And I hate to see this. I see people saying, well, he's not caught because the Brockton police don't want to catch him. I find that to be the most dumbest thing. Cops aren't going to let a murderer walk around the city of Brockton because they don't feel like. And then I saw somebody say, well, he's a snitch, and they don't want to pull him off the street because he's snitched. No, he's not. Now, I'm hearing the rumors are he shaved his hair. The rumors are is that he is hiding out in Ward 5, this area of town. I'm not sure how true that is. He may be long gone. But we need to stop this stuff about the cops not doing their job and not caring about the city of Brockton. I'm going to let you just speak on that.
Well, yeah, well, I'm a true supporter of the Brockton PD. When you look at it, we've got a city officially with about 106,000 people in the books. But we all know that Brockton probably has anywhere between 115 to 120,000 people. And you've got less than 200 men and women in uniform protecting us out there. They do an omen's work, an omen's job, in the sense to be able to keep us safe day in and day out. And of course, then we have knuckleheads like Mr. Davinci there that actually would step over the line and did what he did. He does what he did. And you can't blame that on the police. I honestly believe that he's long gone, to be honest with you. I don't think he is in the city of Brockton. But we've got this this thing that we, especially within the minority communities, within the Black community, we always talk about, hey, I'm not a snitch, I'm not a snitch, I'm not a snitch. And you know what? I tell everybody I am a snitch. I'm actually a parrot, and I tell the kids that I deal with, the kids that I hang around with, the kids that I see in my church, we have 75 kids that we have employed during the summer months here working at our camp. There are Black kids, purple kids, yellow kids, green kids, whatever color kid you can think of, they are. And I tell them, I lead a youth group out of my church, and I tell them, listen, I'm letting you know ahead of time, before you do it, that if that's what your definition is, I am a snitch. I will tell on you, because I'm a strong believer in this. Snitching is you and I go out and commit a crime together, and I decide to turn you in so I can save my life or my behind. That might be snitching. Right. But when you commit a crime on your own, I don't care if you're my father, my mother, my brother, whoever it is, and I provide information that brings you to justice, I see that as justice being provided. Because you know what? The young lady that died is the daughter of someone. The young man that died is the daughter of someone. those people deserve to have justice, deserve to. What about their lives? Their lives don't really matter because you're protecting um, a scumbag, to be honest with you? No, that is justice. We need to be a community that is for justice. We're not here to protect criminals because every time we protect one of these criminals, guess what? Who's next? Am I the next one? Is my family the next one? Because the more you protect these individuals that do not deserve protection, the worse you make it for my community. So I'm here. Whoever's watching us at this time, I'm pleading with you. If you know where this guy is, if you know what he's doing, please share that information. You don't want to go directly to the police? Call me up. My number is public. Call me up and I will do the calling to the police, to the state police, to the FBI, to the ATF, you name it. We will do it because you know what? It's not fair for those parents that are bearing their children to sit here and not have closure because we've got, scumbags and people that do not deserve to be walking on this earth as a free person after doing what they did back in the days, not just to those families, but to this community, to that business that has suffered alongside because it gets labeled as such. And that's not fair for minority folks that actually own those businesses to be treated as they have been treated by this person. Never mind just the fact that you took away 2 young lives. You took away 2 young lives, and you do not deserve. You don't have the right to walk free among us. And that's what we need to do as a community, to stand up and make sure that individuals like that and others that are in our community do not have that freedom to walk around claiming that they're free in this city, in this society of ours.
And one of the things I struggle with too is, I have this love-hate relationship with social media, but here's the thing where I see the ugliness of social media. In this crime here, this young girl's mother, and then we had a shooting at a party, the mother of another kid, Tasha Terry. I follow both these mothers on Facebook, and you're seeing their grieving in real time on social media. And I don't understand how I see people on these mothers' pages who are grieving about the loss of a son or a loss of a daughter, and I see people talking crap, and I'm like, you've got to be a special type of person to come on a mother's page who we can all see is grieving. And people got to realize, I see people saying, why are you on social media? Why are you out here? You shouldn't be out here. Here's the thing, people. Social media is here. It's not going anywhere. The grieving process on social media, get with it. It's a new way of life, people. This is a way for somebody who may not have that person to talk to vent those feelings on social media. It's not looking for attention or striving. Some of these people are truly grieving the loss of a pet or whatever. But both these mothers of both these people are on social media, and it's just sad. It's sad to see, and like I said, turn them in. And you're right. I think there is a good chance he might be gone because the last word I had heard, street justice was looking for him already. And we already know what happens with street justice. We had a gentleman who did some dirt here. He left. He went to Cape Verde. He came back here, thought everything cooled down. He went to go get some dinner at the East Side Chinese buffet. And what happened? They walked right in, shot him. Shot him at nighttime. Place was packed with people. And here's the thing, people. They send in 2 young kids. And this is one of the things that some of these gangs do now. They send these young kids in because they know they're not going to get the full hit of the crime. So they come in here, and it's crazy. So, you say to yourself, he left also because street justice is coming for him.
And you're absolutely right. Now, all of a sudden, in that particular case, now you're adding 2 more young people into the mix that don't really need to be mixed in the mix. Because if you did the right thing and you turn yourself in a manly way, you're not acting like a coward. You committed a crime. Stop being a coward. Stop hiding behind some things and turn yourself in. That way, you don't have to get anyone else involved. You don't have to get anyone else involved to solve the problem that you created. So I think it's important for all of us to band together as a community and start calling these things for what it actually is.
And you hit it on the head when you talked about the minority black community, about the whole snitching and all that. I've been saying this, for the longest time. It's this fear of snitching, this fear of call it in. Call it in. You're only doing worse by not calling it in. Stop this whole thing. You listen to movies and TV shows and let that build your reality of what this is. People, you got to tell. And I tell people, if tragedy happened to you like this in your family, what would you want? You would want people to. You would want people to tell. And it's a sad thing. So as we said, Mr. Rodrigues, you were running for mayor this year, City of Brockton. You talked about why you decided to run. So what is your platform this time around? Because one of the things I heard you say in the promo that ran before we aired this show, and it's going to run every week until the election, it stuck out to me. You said there's no, if I'm elected, there's no more city side, no more school side, only the Brockton side. And I felt that hit home, because when we go into this election, this is a very important election this year. And one of the big things, even though Mr. Sullivan is stepping away and not running again, we still have this stigma of what has happened in these last 2.5 years with the city council and the school committee, and this battle that we had, back and forth behind the scenes. I remember being at Brockton Beer Company and talking to Mr. Jack Lally, and had said to him, this was live, and I said to him, hey, they got a new interim principal coming in. He was like, I know nothing about this. And I'm like, how do you not know nothing about this? He's like, well, they don't have to tell us. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? There should at least be an email sent and say, hey, we're hiring this person, and the city hall should. So I love it. I love that you're on that, because that's exactly the way it should be. There shouldn't be this disconnect and keeping. I agree with this.
Well, Keith, when you sit down and think about it, whenever something negative happens in the city of Brockton, in the schools, do you think people are going to go and say, well, the city of Brockton is a great town. It's got some great parks. It's got some this. Yeah, they had some problems at school. No, it's going to come out as, guess what happened in Brockton today? Because it's one set of lens that they all look us through, and it's the Brockton lens. So the reason why I said what I said about the, once elected, I want to make sure that we don't have the school side, the city side, the police side, the fire side, the DPW side. We have the Brockton side, because no matter how it looks, no matter how well one group does versus the other, it reflects on every single one of us in the city. They're not going to sit here and give us a pass because it happened with DPW. Oh, it happened with the fire department. What happened with the police department, with the school department? Well, the school department is one division of city government. Right. It consumes around 40% of the city's budget. So as the school goes, so does the rest of the city. So we got to have this nonsense about, well, we don't have to worry about it because it's the school folks that are going to take care of this. No. It's not going to be the school folks that are going to take care of it. It's going to be the city folks that are going to take care of it. The city, whether they work at the schools or they work at City Hall or they work at DPW or the fire department or the police department. It has to be one vision for the entire city. Because so as long as we go with these little silos, everything, well, as long as it happens in the school, I don't have to worry about it because it didn't happen at City Hall. That's the wrong mentality to have, and that's why we had the issues that we had, where the school is doing its own thing and falling off the cliff with the deficit that they had. The city hall is doing its own thing. Well, that has to stop. That has to stop. And the message is very simple. You are a part of this government, whether or not you work at City Hall or at 43 Crescent Street. You are a part of this city's government. And we have to look at it as one solid government, one piece, and everybody pushing and rowing in the same direction. Because we can't go in circles like we have been in the last couple of years or so, because we were doing the old going around in circles and not deciding exactly what we need to do for the good and for the children of the city of Brockton. So that's my mentality. If it's going to happen in the schools, it's going to happen in the city. And guess what? a message that goes out to the city councils will be the same message that goes out to the school committee people. What goes out to the school committee people will be the same thing that goes out to the city council on the city side. So it's going to be one issue, one argument, and that's the way we're going to do it as a city. And the nonsense that you were saying about Jack Lally not knowing what's going on, that's not going to happen, because we're going to have somebody basically inform the city across the board, so we all know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm lucky enough to get elected mayor coming January, we will have Friday afternoons as the city meeting, where the councilors come in, the school committee people will come in, we'll have a conversation. What can we do together to make the city moving forward? And that's what we're going to end up doing.
Nice, nice. We got a lot of people in the chat. Felicia, like I said, is still in there. Felicia Isabel Sapova is in the chat. Steve Hook is in the chat. What's going on, everybody? If you got any questions for Mr. Rodrigues, we got him for about 9 more minutes, and then my second guest is actually waiting in the chat. Also, we'll be getting her on at the break. But you know, it's great to hear you talk about it. So, what are some of your goals coming in this time around?
Let me tell you something, at least in my opinion and the opinion of the people that I speak with on a regular basis, because you know I still work at the association, the Immigrant Center here, and I see people from all walks of life. I started by saying we've got that camp going on down at the Gilmore School with almost 300 kids from all kinds of, from all communities. And one of the things that I constantly hear is the lack of quality of life in the city. You know, so when you look at it, it's not public safety on its own. It's not the stability in the schools. It's not just the tax burdens that we face in the community. It's not the lack of cleanliness. It's a combination of all of them, because they all come back to one thing. We all want our quality of life in this community to get better. How does it get better? With safer streets. How does it get better? For us to have some real stability in our schools, so that we don't have to worry about whether or not, gee, next year are we laying off another 100 teachers, or are we laying off another 200 teachers? We also need to grow our commercial tax base, because if you look at it, the burden, the shift between residential taxes and commercial taxes is like 70-30. Our commercial base is not that high. It should be up to 40, 45 to lessen the blow on the taxpayer. I am a taxpayer. As a matter of fact, it's interesting that the folks who are running for office, 90 of them are not even taxpayers. You don't pay taxes. You don't know what a water bill looks like. You don't know what a gas bill looks like. You don't know what an electrical bill sometimes looks like. And how are you going to sit here and represent the people that you're working for when you don't do the same things? You're not paying taxes in this community. So what do you care what the taxes go up to? Because it's not affecting you. So that's another thing that we got to look at. How do we bring in the businesses? And it's not, I know we talk about it all the time, you know, and I apologize because I've had a nasty cold for the last couple of weeks or so.
No problem, sir. No problem, sir.
But when you sit down and think about it, we talk about, we got to bring in more business. We got to bring in more business. But yet, how do we bring in more business when our streets are so dirty? You know, we've got homeless people running around all over the place, you know, scaring the daylights out of these businesses that we have in the community, or not supporting those existing businesses, you know, because we spend such a great deal of time kissing the behinds of new businesses to move into Brockton, but yet those that we have here, we don't do much to support them, you know? So guess what? If we don't take care of our own, they'll become somebody else's own, you know? And that's one of the things that I see happening all the time, because go down on the south side of the city and look how many businesses we have on the south side of Brockton, South Main Street, how many of them are closed? It's car dealerships, it's stores, it's a variety of things, because we don't do a good job in retaining businesses. You know, once they come in, we do the ribbon cutting and we do the clapping, all this and all that. But what are we doing to support existing businesses in this community?
And that's
don't do a great deal of job. You know, we want the Raytheons of the world to come in. We want Microsoft. We want Boeing. We want all these big businesses that we know for a fact are not going to come because we don't have the space for them. But we got these little mom and pop businesses that are coming. And guess what? We end up losing them because we don't support them. You know? So one of the things that I'm proposing to do is to create a body within the mayor's office that actually will become a business advisory council to city government, not just the mayor, but the business advisory council to help us to advise government and what can we do to retain and at the same time create a system where some of these businesses will actually help us attract more businesses into our community.
I thought something like that would be something that Rob May would be the type of person to oversee. So I guess not that. I guess that wasn't his position for something like that. But you were dead on. You're dead on about, and we got about 4 minutes. You're dead on because that's one of the things that's one of my biggest pet peeves in the city of Brockton, not supporting, people. You look at Stoughton, supported by 138. Raynham, Taunton area, supported by 44, 138. These are businesses aligned during these stretches of road. There's no reason why 28 doesn't have that same type of stretch. When I first moved to Brockton, you had the Avon Drive-In was down there on 28. You had Shaw's, you had Kmart, you had all these businesses all the way up 28, all the way up to the top of Main Street, from car dealerships to all of these businesses. And then once Shaw's left, and you're right, it went completely downhill. You lose that tax base of businesses. We're Brockton, 28, 27, 123. You've got 3 major roadways that should be loaded with businesses to bring that tax base down. I totally agree. Bridgewater is supported by Route 18 that runs through it. You go up 18, there's businesses through 3 or 4 towns. In 18.
My plan is to walk into Boston, the mayor's office in Boston, and say, look, Brockton is your little brother. When somebody comes into Boston that says, I want X number of square feet of space for a particular business, but, they're looking for, some residential or some things for their employees. I want us to be a partner with Boston to be able to say, can we take a subdivision of that division? We will go up there and pick him up. I mean, this is something that one of Councilor Texera said the other day. When we have a major business that wants to invest millions of dollars into our community, we should rent a car and go pick him up and bring him into the community, versus to basically because one of the issues that I see, Keith, is the fact that we are a reactive community instead of being a proactive community.
Get me started. Don't get me started on that.
React, when Shaw's closes, we want to go protest in front of Shaw's because they closed. What did we do before Shaw's closed? When Kmart closed, we went up oh my God, Kmart's closing. What did we do to maybe work with Kmart before they closed? What did we do with Stop and Shop? We heard they were closing. We went up there, talked to them for a little bit or whatever. But what exactly did we do to prevent those businesses from moving out of there? So we got to be a little more proactive, not just reactive when these things happen. And, frankly, we got to be real. We got to be real with the people that are running for office. This is not a talent show. This is not a beauty pageant. We're not looking for who's the prettiest person, who's got the better smile. We got to look and say, who has done some of these things to be able to do this? Let's go back, do our research. Again, don't do it on promise, because you and I were talking offline about when we were kids, we had politicians talking about, hey, we want great schools, we want great health insurance, we want great this, great this, great that. We all want the same thing, but are you able to do it? Because you know what? Promises, we've lived with promises, but it gets to a point we need to figure out the hows. How are you exactly going to do this? And I talked to you about a couple things. Bring in the businesses, sit them down and say, you are part of this solution. You tell me, what do I need to do to retain your business? What do I need to do to get some of your friends to come into my community? What do I need to do to make this happen? We don't do a great deal of that because you know what? We walk around like we're the experts on everything. We know everything. We can't be told what to do because we're the ones with the PhDs, the masters, or whatever the hell we have. But in reality, all we need to do is ask those that have done the walk to tell us exactly what do I need to do to attract more of your kind into my community.
Good stuff. We are right at 7:30. Perfect. Before we get out of here, Man, let them know how people can follow you and stay up with you as you make this run for mayor to the city of Brockton.
Look, we're all over Facebook. I work at the association up here on the north side of the city. My number is public. It's 508-386-5816. If I don't answer, because sometimes when you don't know a number and you get people that call you and harass the daylights out of you, leave me a text message and I'll get back to you. You know I'm at City Hall. We're there on Mondays going through the council meeting. We're trying to walk the streets and talk directly with the voters in this community. But before you do that, do your homework. Do your homework. Get to know the people you're voting for or re-electing in some instances. Do your homework. And you know what? Talk is cheap. There's a lot of people out there. They'll talk your ear out. I'm a person I was born in Cape Verde. I grew up in Angola, in Africa. I came to the city as a teenager, and I've made my life out of this community. I came here speaking absolutely no English. You know, if I can do it, anybody else can do it. You know, but again, do your homework. Find out exactly what's going on. Leave your personalities out of it, because somebody says, oh, he walked by me, he didn't look at me. You know what? Maybe my mind was somewhere else and I didn't see you, and that's why I didn't do it. But my thing is, I promise you that this is going to be a together thing. It's not going to be a me thing, because I can't do it alone. If it was just an alone thing, you know what? I don't want to be a part of it, because I won't be able to do it. It's an us thing. And I honestly believe that, you know, you elect me, and together we're going to be able to change the city for the good, because you'll have a voice within city government. You know, we have not had voices in the past, but you'll have a voice, because I can actually communicate across a lot of these ethnic groups that we're dealing with, you know? So I think it's important for us to be able to do that and put somebody that understands this community, that has done the work, that has some sort of a track record to go by. And I'll stand by some of the things that I've done, but I'm also willing to do better and improve the lives of the folks that call this city home. And again, it's going to be us and not a me thing. So thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Best of luck to you and your listeners. Keep up the good work. And this is a good forum to have, because it shares a lot of thoughts and ideas with everybody. Give me a call anytime. I'll come back and we'll talk across the board, whatever we need to talk about.
No problem. We've got Lisa Crowley. She's waiting to come on here real quick. I want to thank you, sir, for coming on here. Everybody, again, as you guys know, this is election year, and I'm going to make the announcement right now. Yeah, do your homework. Every Sunday before the election on Tuesday in November, I host this event called Vote 48. What Vote 48 is that it allows the candidates to come down and not push for votes. What they're trying to do is sway the undecided. There's a very big percent that's undecided on that Sunday before. We've had a lot of elections in Brockton decided by single-digit votes. So you want to make sure to come down and check that out. So we're going to take a quick break. Sir, thank you for coming on the show. Let me take a quick break here. We'll be back with Lisa Crowley. Thank you very much, sir, for coming on. Here we go. Take a break.
Appreciate it.
Come on. She bought a 3-pack of Red Bull and copped a room. Told me meet her at the W. Told the valet to look out, cause I'm on my way. I'll be in the old school Chevrolet. Ooh, the drop top dice hanging in the rear view. Blue antique plates on the old school. For my conversation. Told me hurry, baby, don't keep me waiting. If you play your cards right, keep your game tight, you might get lucky tonight. You see, I normally don't do this, baby, but I just might let you.
Yeah, we're not wasting any time on this show. We got a good show. We got a lot of topics to talk about. My second guest is already here, Lisa Crowley. She is the Ward 6 candidate running. I got to thank Moises Rodrigues. He's running for mayor. Moises, as I said, is well known in this city. He's been involved with Brockton politics for a long time, so I got to thank him for coming on. It's an honor. It's an honor for all these politicians to hit me up and want to come on this show. And as we said, I had to make the announcement early. I was kind of keeping it quiet that I am actually running for Ward 5 City Council this year. I was trying to wait till I got my name on the ballot. I didn't want to jinx myself because I'm superstitious as hell. But the cat got let out the bag, and wow, the response has been crazy. But today, it's not about me. I want to get my people on here because we've got some big topics to talk about. Lisa from Ward 6, introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
Congratulations, Keith. So it sounds like you are on the ballot.
I'm gonna be. Yeah, I got enough signatures. I just have to turn them in and get them ratified, and we will go from there.
Great, great. Well, I'm running for the first time ever myself. My name is Lisa Campenella Crowley. I've lived at 250 Howard Street for about 20 years. It was across from Romuva Park, where me and my neighbors have spent the last 4 years fighting an illegal construction debris waste site, construction demolition waste site, in order to actually get the sports complex that we are getting via the Boston Legacy, which is great. We're super happy about that, but that's not the only reason. And the other thing about me, I'll give you a little more of a biography. I grew up in Whitman and also Carver. I graduated Whitman Hanson 1987. I went to Utica College, which is now a university, from 1991, 1992, and I graduated with a bachelor's in journalism and a minor in history. And in May, I just got my master's in history from Fitchburg State. Woohoo! So
Congrats.
that was a 6-year project, all at the same time while I was writing emails and leafleting and knocking on doors and organizing, with the help of all of my neighbors to basically fight a multi-million-dollar illegal construction debris waste site. I've been living in Brockton for 20 years. I've been a member of the Brockton Garden Club for almost 20. I took a little hiatus when a guy in New Bedford blew through a stop sign and herniated discs in my back and a lot of other things, but then I went right back when I could, slowly but surely. And I volunteered coaching for the Brockton Youth Soccer. I've also coached Mass Bay Community College as an assistant coach and sort of a head coach. That's another story. But and the Galway Rovers. I've played soccer all my life. I've reffed, and now I coach. So we're really excited to have that. But Jack has become extremely complacent. He's checked out. He wants some other job. He ran for state rep. That didn't go so well. He's running around County Cork with ambassadors and Plymouth County commissioners. We need someone who's engaged and motivated, and I am engaged and motivated, and I'm really looking forward. And I've got a background in news as well as I'm an investigator for the Public Defender's Office. So information is what I'm all about. We can't even find out what's going on down the street half the time, or big things or little things. So we really need a change. We need more communication, and we'll see how the voters think.
And we talked about this before. You came on with Moses. We were talking about communications within the city itself, and there was an incident involving Jack Lally, and this Romuva Park thing. This goes way back to when I was on the board for the Brockton Junior Boxers, who was the Pop Warner football team, and we all came there for this meeting, and we were sold that this sports complex was coming. We would finally have a football field for the kids. This was way back, and it just never happened. It never materialized. And I was actually involved behind the scenes, helping you guys out through some people. I was in contact with Michelle Dubois. Several residents had hit me up because, for those who don't know, I was sent down to Virginia Tech. I am specialized and certified in EMS, environmental management systems. In other words, I worked at the MBTA, and one of the things I oversaw was environmental management systems, which is defense lines, the disposal of hazardous waste and things of that sort. And that whole site, visually, first and foremost, was a nightmare. And I've always learned in the business that I'm in and what I do, if the site is a visual nightmare to start, guess what? The root of the problem in that place is much deeper. And I remember Michelle Dubois posting about this place. And I remember telling her, hey, here's the thing. You've got two of the same businesses on that street directly across from each other. There's a construction business right across the street. And guess what? As an EMS guy, they're doing everything they're supposed to do. Their trucks are kept clean. All of their waste you can see is in the special containers that it's supposed to be. You go over to Mr. Rukas's place where they were just bringing in bales of dirt that nobody knows what's in this dirt. He's crushing dirt. Dirt's in the air. You have no idea what particles or PCBs could be in that air. So you all were making a very, and sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with NIMBYs. And sometimes NIMBYs are dead on in situations such as this because you're right. Your safety first and foremost. You had trucks traveling up and down that road. I remember there was
double tractor trailers.
Yeah,
and he had a dirty site. He was bringing in a house demolition and construction demolition with asbestos, lead, and arsenic on it, and he actually got approval in West Bridgewater for the other place he has now at 15 Maple Street for the same exact thing. So, us saying, no, well, he didn't, it was a clean place. Everybody knew it was dirty. It was a dirty dump. He never should have done it. There was an RFP in place signed by Phil Nasrallah, the former city solicitor, Mayor Carpenter, and Mr. Rukas. He signed on for the sports complex. It's not happening the same way. We're not going to get a 4 Kicks in Taunton, where you have all that indoor space for all the leagues, all the teams, for football, for lacrosse, for soccer, whoever else, because it's only going to be for soccer, the 3 public fields and the 3 fields for the Boston Legacy. So we didn't get that, but we are getting the Boston Legacy and Romuva Park. So that other 10 acres, the ditch, the bigger ditch that you can actually, see in the drone that looks like a crater, that is not part of the plans. So the fields for the public are squished in up the front, up way out at the back at the building circle area where the Brookfield fields are. And there's going to be an 8-foot drop. So we've got to make sure that the stormwater management, there's not a lot of houses up there, but is the stormwater going to flood right into Brookfield baseball? Because nobody cares about baseball anymore, but they do. And that's the thing. And those are nice fields back there. So we got to make sure. So we didn't entirely get what we wanted. I think we should have. Mr. Rukas, I guess, is the Romuva Park is not for sale, even though both parcels were zone C7 and both of them are part of the RFP. He's done exactly what the quote unquote conspiracy theory was from 2017 when they announced this and had Romuva Park as 800 spaces, that he was splitting the parcels and he was probably never ever going to do the sports complex, and he was going to try and do his Jay Dorenzo dream. He wanted to be Dorenzo. A lot of people know that. He told me, it's not hearsay. He told me years earlier, and my stomach turned when I realized he was the same guy. I didn't know how connected he was at the beginning. I do now. So we'll ride it out. We'll see what comes down the pike, and we'll see what happens. I sent an email to Jim Plouffe earlier, yesterday, and he responded that the Legacy have applied for a permit for the field house, not the dome and not the fields yet. So we're waiting to see when they start construction. And Mr. Rukas they hired him for some kind of site work. So he's been in there. That's another story, but the process isn't done. The job's not done. And I want me to be the city councilor.
They hired him for site work.
He's got to get rid of his dirt anyway. He's got to get rid of gravel piles and there's big soil piles.
Okay,
If you look across from Dorenzo, DEP told me that's soil, topsoil. So that's got to go. So he's going to do something, but he's not supposed to be the contractor.
That's what I'm saying. That's a huge conflict of interest. That's craziness. So
I don't know. So we're struggling with the whole process. We want to welcome Boston Legacy wholeheartedly and with arms wide open. And I did talk to them at the open house, and I sent them an email before the open house. And they understood and they understand where we're coming from. So it's we've got a high here that we've got Boston Legacy coming in, but we've got this low. We thought Mr. Rukas would hopefully sell Romuva Park as part of this project. He could pack up his equipment and go to Norwell or Kingston or West Bridgewater or Marlboro, because now he's opening up his second ninja gym in Marlboro with a group of others. So I have very little sympathy for Mr. Rukas. I would love it. Maybe at the end we end up having him pack up and go somehow. But that's what he always wanted.
Well, I mean, once Boston Legacy comes, they're not going to want that eyesore and that traffic there, to be honest. Also, so they're gonna look at that. And here's the thing, people. I know I saw a lot of people on Facebook. They were talking all this crap. But look, this Boston Legacy thing is a big deal, people. White Stadium. This is all connected to this White Stadium that's being built. And for those who don't know who Aaliyah Boston is Caitlin Clark's teammate. Aaliyah Boston is the one who put this money up for this Boston Legacy Football Club parcel of land to be purchased and to come here. So this is all private funding that's going into this.
And Allie Reisman.
The gymnast. The Olympic gymnast.
So if we could get Romuva Park as part of this, they could, Mr. Rukas was supposed to build a 127,000 square foot, but it was supposed to have, I think we're not sure if that was supposed to be the fields, but if they could do another 70,000 with a gymnast, the kid from Stoughton, whose name, maybe we get the gymnast, we get a nice club over here. I don't know, but I would rather see more space for leagues, for the teams, for the football teams, for the lacrosse teams, for the basketball teams. For the soccer teams, because not everybody's going to be able to play over there. I coached, first come, first serve. First come, first serve, whether it's Bridgewater.
Oh, trust me, I know, dealing with Pop Warner here and having to get your schedule filled out, months and months and months ahead of time, because fields are at a premium here in the city of Brockton. Real quick, you know what? I'm blessed.
So it is a big deal. It is a big deal, and we love them. I do anyway.
Yes.
There's some people who are like, they wanted it to stay quiet, but the point was, Romuva Park was family, sports, health, and let's get outside and do fun stuff. Festivals, picnics, the home of Brookfield Little League, and the land behind that was all forest. We all walk trail. A lot of people walk the trails, and then you get the baseball fields, and then you get the Brookfield School. If we could get that, I know people want housing. I would like to see more sports. I think we have enough housing.
We need it, and it's funny. I got someone here.
Because we're not going to have those tournaments. If there's only 3 fields up way in the back, are we going to get those big tournaments like Bridgewater does at Flag Field? That's how they make the money, and that's how you get, the word out that Brockton is a good place. It's safe. And hopefully Legacy, hopefully the Legacy is paying attention to what happened to Urban Air. Be wary and be prepared.
There's a lot of other things too that we need to work on, because for years I lived here in Brockton, and Brockton has had the talent and kids that could have put Brockton on the map for the Little League World Series, but because we were so ignorant to becoming part of the Little League, and we wanted to have our own baseball in this city, we cost our kids and we cost this city World Series appearances in Little League Baseball. Let's be real honest here. This city had a ton of talent when the Cape Verdean, Dominican kids, and everybody was coming into the city, and baseball was still, you couldn't get kids on a roster in baseball in this city. But for some reason, we wanted to be part of the Babe Ruth and do whatever we wanted. So don't even get me started on that. But I got somebody on here, and I'm finally happy about this. I got to digress real quick.
Sure.
A fellow soccer fan who's not ignorant to professional international football in this. Look, here's the deal. I'm excited about Boston Legacy FC coming in, but here's the thing, people. A lot of people are about to become hypocrites next year. Why? Because I've been telling people, I saw all the people on my timeline when I was talking about the World Cup, and everybody beat the hell out of me for World Cup. I've been a soccer fan for a long time, and I tell people the U.S. is ignorant. When you step outside the U.S., soccer, football is a completely different monster. Messi came here 2 weeks ago.
I was there.
Two weeks ago. Yo, he's bigger than Tom Brady. He's made more money than Tom Brady. The place was sold out. And for those who don't realize this, everybody said when the revolution started, it's going to be a waste. Nobody did. Look, the revolution has bumped up their attendance every year. They've got championships. And guess what? Next year, FIFA 26 is going to be held here at Gillette Stadium. People, you have no idea what you are about. The last time the World Cup came here, my uncle worked at the old stadium before Gillette, and it was crazy. I'm just letting you all know right now.
Oh, when was that? That was Schaefer Stadium?
That was Schaefer Stadium, way back.
Wow.
Way
So
back.
you're talking
my uncle
like
worked there.
the 80s? You're
Yes.
talking the 80s? Like
Yep.
Giorgio Chinaglia days?
Yes.
Franz
Yes,
Beckenbauer days?
And I think Pele had come here. That was that.
Yes.
That was the big thing. But here's the thing, people. FIFA 26 is here. The ignorance is going to bother me because people like you and I who love the sport, we're probably not going to be able to get tickets because all the friggin' wannabe FIFA fans now are going to buy up all those tickets to Gillette Stadium. I'm going to be really pissed.
We may not be able to afford them, you know.
Oh.
I mean, the Messi prices came down the closer it came to the game. And that's how I ended up going because I wasn't going to pay $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. Down on the floor, they were still, you know, super close. I shouldn't say the floor, but right behind like the teams. The closer you got, the more it went up. But it was reasonable and it was really fun. I mean, the World Cup should be amazing. I really like the way they're doing the format in Canada, in Mexico, in the United States. Me and my sister and my mom, back when the Olympics were in Harvard Stadium back in like 1984, when the Olympics were in California and LA, they had a whole bunch of the soccer qualifiers in Massachusetts, all over the country. And we ended up, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And, you know, the drums and the horns and, you know, the passion.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just- and we get to, and we get to see the beautiful game. You know, America is catching up. You know, we need to teach our kids how to play the beautiful game. You know, that's what I think we miss is seeing some of these players like Messi, like the ball just follows him. It's like, how does it go through? And
He
you know,
scored 2
Pele-
goals that night, right? He had 2 goals
He
that night?
did, yeah. It was amazing. And like, he just makes it look so easy. He makes it look so easy, and it's really not. And you could see the difference between Inter Miami, the caliber of player that they had in the Revolution, and First Touch, and just passing and movement and motion. It's just
Yeah,
so when
and
we get to see players at that caliber, even in their waning years, it's just
Lexi
amazing.
Lexi Lawless here with the Revolution.
Yeah, you know,
Wow.
and even like not only Lionel Messi played for Inter Miami, Luis Suarez is a really good player. He's known for that whole biting incident. He's from Argentina, I do believe, or Colombia, one or the other. But he is an amazing soccer player as well. So I hope to see women's soccer flourish. It's gonna be across the street.
I know. So we got about 5 minutes left, and you're gonna hang for some topics, but now I got to get to this other part. I got to give you your time because you are running as a Ward 6 candidate this year. We talked about the Romuva Park, but let's give you your time to talk about some other issues that you want to address if you're to be elected as the Ward 6 candidate.
Sure. If elected, I would start doing ward meetings again, whether it's monthly or quarterly. There's just no communication whatsoever. We haven't seen anything, from the incumbent until the Boston legacy. And there's a number of things going on in the Lithuanian village. There's planning and zoning issues going on. A veterans home is coming, and I think that's great. I'm glad to see that's coming. So that building, that rundown building, is going to be updated. So more information, some way, shape, or form. I'll do some kind of website or blog or something for residents to go to as we go along. I'm kind of doing that on my Crowley for Ward 6 Facebook, as well as on Brockton Political Central. Brockton Fake Sports Complex is kind of dedicated to the battle, to stop.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So I'm kind of trying to morph things, but we need more communication and more responsiveness. A lot of the people I've talked to are saying, basic things, uh, speed limit signs. The closing of Stop and Shop was something that was brought up. That's technically in Shirley Asak's ward, but all of this planning and zoning that's going on, we need someone who's actually going to the planning board meetings and talking to the mayor and talking to the building department about the sidewalks for the legacy project. Are we going to get some sidewalks? Mayor Sullivan said that he was going to to move the bus stop or put in a bus stop. Where are we going to put that? What about the sidewalks? What about crosswalks? What about, traffic slowing issues? And we need that in the entire ward. The Winter Street and Howard Street intersection, there's so much more traffic than we've had. Everybody's getting in everywhere. Maybe we can somehow work with the state and at least get a study going to start looking at that. Jack has kind of given up on all of that kind of stuff. Maybe we just need new energy and new blood.
People forget. There's three major, and I saw Mr. Nunez. He had put a thing up about extending Spark Street. He's supposed to get the plans to me. But here's the thing. People who don't understand, there's three major businesses that have trucking and stuff out of that Ward 6 area. You have Montilio's, a very successful business down there. You have two mattress places down there, very successful business. People don't realize there is a spice business in that one warehouse there that provides spices that you see in Price Right, Dollar Tree, and Shaw's. Those spices are made right here in shelved in Brockton.
Or at least distributed.
Yes, and then you have Spark Street Auto.
Those spices are great.
Yeah,
Yep.
So we've got a lot of great businesses now. Real quick,
Rexel Electric moved in as well. If you've seen
That's
Rexel
right.
Electric at the end,
Yes.
we're getting a lot of truck parking as well, and what's
right.
going on, and and we don't even know anything about that. Me and my neighbors, I called myself and emailed myself to find out what was happening at the end of Park Street with the cars that were piling up, and it became like a ad hoc junkyard. That was over the last 2 years as well. So Jack's checked out. We need someone who's checked in. I'm checked in.
Definitely.
I have experience.
So I have a question for you, being Ward 6. Hey, Sammy, Sergio, Gigi's Pub, what's going on? Felicia says she looked at the Brockton website yesterday, couldn't believe the space of time between board meetings and great need for members. I got a question for you. And I remember the owner of the property of the Lit, he was involved in an assault, and the property was actually to be sold off or whatever. But here's the funny thing that I got to ask this question because I drive by there. That building was supposed to be for sale and renovated. And one of the things I noticed that the renovation started and somebody went in there, and the only thing I noticed that was renovated was that all of that double mirrored expensive glass windows that you don't see today, that are very hard to come by, was all removed. Other than that, nothing else has been done to that building. And I was wondering, did somebody get that renovation just to get a cash grab to get that glass out of there and sell that on the outside? Because that's what I feel like is what happened. I can't say I know it, but from what I see, that's what it looks like they did. They said, oh my God, you can't get that glass. They don't make it like that no more. And everybody who knows the Lit, all four sides had those glass pane windows, the cubes.
Right.
So I was wondering whatever happened with that, who took all that glass out of there, and why did we not finish up that renovation?
I don't know. I don't know. I was at a Montello Business Association meeting over 2 years ago. And the answer from the incumbent was that he was on the phone trying to call him every day. And it was actually silly, and he kept saying that. So I think whoever owns, you know what? I'll try and get you an answer, but I haven't looked into that. I've got enough on my, I had a lot on my plate.
That's what I'm saying.
Um,
I know.
we don't know what happened to that. I guess that's the answer, and no one's brought it back up. If they have, I haven't been at the Montello Business Association meetings. I want to, but it conflicted with my chairmanship of the scholarship committee of the garden club, which I wish I could be at two places at once. But that's where it was left about 2 years ago, that basically whatever Jack was trying to do wasn't getting anywhere, and it sounds like the owners or whoever it was are unresponsive. But I'll see what I can find out, and
Yeah,
maybe I'll
that'd be
go
great.
back
And if I
on.
remember, he was and I also remember one thing about Ward 6 years and years and years ago. Ward 6 was popular to me because when we first moved to Brockton, that's where the spring was, the natural spring. And people in Brockton would go to Ward 6 up the top of the hill there behind the church because there was a natural spring. You used to fill all your water jugs and get your water, and there'd be a line. The street would be lined with cars years ago to get this water. Just some of the old school stuff that Brockton used to
Yeah,
benefit
that got developed.
from.
I do
Yeah,
believe there was, yeah.
I
You know,
can't
I
believe.
know, I know. I never got the answer as to why the owner said that it was no longer potable water. What, you can't
Hmm.
drink it now? I understand what potable water means. So it was yesterday before you wanted to develop it, but now it's not.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
so I
Crazy.
do I do have a penchant towards planning and zoning.
Okay.
I do pay attention to it. I do post the planning board hearings and the zoning board hearings. I've shown up at a couple on East Ashland Street when, the lot, the big open space next to Price Right, to the left if you're facing Price Right.
Yep.
The owners wanted to put in a truck parking depot and a container storage place. And I showed up and spoke up against that. And the zoning board denied it 4-1. So we didn't get a truck parking depot there. So I don't know if they were inclined to vote that way anyway. But I do pay attention to a lot of planning and zoning, and I'm speeding up.
Yeah, we still have the Bargainier site that's been talked about for years that we're supposed to develop and get rid of. The Bargainier site over behind the old Stewart's and Price right on the east side here. That's another site. I think that still falls under Ward 5 though. Steve
Yeah, the
Hook is
east
in the
side's
chat.
actually looking kind of nice. The one across from well, where the Brockton butcher, the butcher market is.
Yes,
The
yes, there is a lot of
um
businesses going into that plaza right there. There's a lot of business, but we still have a noise issue with the metal recycling place there, and there's some things that they're doing that need to be addressed in Ward 5
Is
with
that Ward
starting
5?
work before. Yeah, that's Ward 5, but they're starting work before the time they're supposed to start. They're not making sure they evacuate all propane tanks before putting propane into the scrap metal scrapper.
Is that
and they're
Spiegel
having
scrap?
Spiegel,
That,
yep.
that had the big huge fire.
Yep, so they've had some issues there, so that's something to get on. Before we get into these other topics, tell people how they can follow you and support you for your run for Ward 6.
The best way to reach me is to jump on my website, crowleyforward6.org. All of my information is there. My email as well as my cell phone number. But my cell phone is 339-987-0132. That's a great way to get a hold of me too. You can text or old school voicemail. I may not pick up right away, but I will get back to you. My website I'm working on. I'm not new at creating websites, but it's been a while and I'm rusty and things have changed a little.
A lot of
And I thought
it.
this would be easier. And what to put on there and what not to. My email is lecrowley1@yahoo.com. And otherwise, look for me out there. Help me out campaign. Look for me at 250 Howard Street, across from Romuva Park, where the Boston Legacy play. You'll see me, taking care of my lawn and just basically just enjoying my house again. A lot of things have turned around a little bit. A couple of things we need to help out with, but I really ask for residents of Ward 6 to take a look. We need a change. I know me and my neighbors need help. A lot of the other residential neighborhoods don't, but the Lithuanian Village and us over behind Route 28, we need someone who's more engaged. We need to reinvigorate Ward 6. We need help.
There
Thanks.
we go. And you know what? And it's great to see, we had Moises Rodrigues on with us early. He's running for mayor. You're running for Ward 6. Everybody's starting to hit me up about coming on this show too. So, I know Mr. Duran Court, we plan to get him on. A lot of these guys, are going to be coming on. Jason has been on the show. There's been so many people already on, and I don't, sometimes I don't realize how many people that this show touches until election season rolls around.
I know. I kind of feel like, I feel like a jerk because I just can't keep up with all the podcasts. But I want to, and I really appreciate you having me on. I would love to come back on and keep you updated about the legacy.
No, I am. So
when
right
they
now,
pull
this is
permits.
this is kind of an introduction thing. Once we get past September, then we're going to get really into the meat as we head into November, if those are on the ballot for November. So you wanted to stay on and talk some of these topics with me to close out the show?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So we got
I
some
think depending what they are.
So here's what I tell people. I tell people who come on this show, I have a very knowledgeable audience. They know. They know, and they follow my Facebook page, so they're knowledgeable. I tell people, when you come on here and if there's a topic you don't know something about, just say, hey, Keith, man, I don't know this topic. I'd rather you say I don't know this topic. People respect you. If you try to fake it and give a wrong answer or mess up, they're going to come at you, and trust and believe me. So if you say, hey, I don't follow that, it's good. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but some of the stuff we're going to get into, let's see here. We already talked about Catch This Kid. Davinci Leonard, turn his ass in. I can't say it enough. Also, here in the news booth in Brockton, Massasoit breaks ground on a $52 million project that's been in the waiting for almost 10 years. This was a science building that it's been back and forth. I also think this was also part of the parcel that was supposed to happen over at Crescent Street at the old Cristo site. But it looks like they broke the ground. It's actually going to happen on the site of Massasoit. Good, big thing for them. So I can't wait to see that one. That is a big look for them. And I can't wait.
Fantastic.
That's my side of town. Also, we talked about the Boston Legacy spending the $27 million. Boston Legacy is coming to Brockton. Look, this is a big deal, like I said, and she just talked about it. I got to thank Aaliyah Boston for putting up that part of that funding, and she's actually putting a lot of money in this area. So big ups to her for doing this.
Maybe we can get her to come on your show.
I'm actually going to reach out to her to come on this show. When I heard it was her and Allie Reisman, I was like, okay, let me see about getting Miss Aaliyah Boston on the show and talk about it. Also in the news booth, hey, look, this is an issue, people. Webster, Mass. They still haven't found Bolo, the water monitor, the monitor lizard. Now this is a big ass lizard, about 5 feet long. The owner said it got out of the window and it's now free. Guess what, people? You're safe. It only eats dead rodents and veggies. You're fine. The problem here is that this is a problem, and I wish I could have gotten Brockton animal control on, because we've had this problem here in Brockton where people go and get these pets that are illegal and you shouldn't have, because the Webster Police Department is saying the person who had this shouldn't have even had this anyway as a pet. Period. You mess up the environment, you mess up all these things, and I would like to get somebody on from Animal Control to really talk about this. But remember, we had an alligator here in Brockton before 2 years before COVID.
That. I do.
And they dumped the 2 alligators in DW Field Park.
Yep, and I remember that.
People thought it was a joke. They were laughing about it. I'm like, yo, this isn't funny.
Yeah, no, kids. It's really not. Like,
you got swans disappearing.
I still kind of, when I walk my dogs at DW, is there any alligators around here? Like, maybe we haven't got the word yet, but I remember that. I do. I remember
look,
that.
I grew up as a teen in the 70s, and I remember after Jaws, I remember ABC released the movie Alligator on TV and that scared the hell out of me. And so when you told me that you dumped alligators in DW Field Park, trust and believe me, my spider sense was tingling. People, what I gotta say is, hey, stop getting pets into this country that you shouldn't have, and they're not supposed to be here. Because this story is crazy. Also in the news booth to close it out, Bat Bus, SRTA, MBTA, all the bus companies. I've been talking about transportation. That's my business, my career business. The grant has been extended. The funding has been supplied. Free bus service in in New Bedford, Fall River, Brockton, the 23s in Boston, free till 2026. It's been extended for the 4th time. People, I'm just going to tell you, this is my opinion. I'm in this industry. And what we are seeing by having free service, the benefits of free service, I'm just going to tell you, as somebody who's in the transportation business for over 30 years, I don't think we're going back, people. I don't think we're going back for anybody to pay to get on a bus. Why? Because you've eliminated fare boxes, fare repairment. You've eliminated all of these things that are costing the MBTA and all these other transit companies unnecessary money. By having things free like this, now you just hire customer service agents to tell people where they need to go. One of the other things that we've learned, and the regular person wouldn't know, headways. We've gained 6 to 7 minutes on headways. In other words, by not picking people up and having them fumble to get change out their pockets or haggle with a driver because they don't have money to get on the bus and all these little things, you've gained all of this time on your route in a bus route, because now you open the front doors for people to get on, you open the back doors for the people to get off. It's created this streamlined system of the bus being able to load people, offload people, and keep it moving. This is a big deal, people, and all of the transit companies are seeing this, and they're benefiting from it. And in my opinion, I don't think we're ever going back. I think this is the step of public transportation being free everywhere across the country. So I think, and I applaud this, because I think we should be getting more people on public transportation. You've got a very important bus down there in Ward 6. You guys got the MBT, you guys got the T Station commuter rail, but then you also have the 240 Quincy bus from the MBTA, which will take you right to the Braintree Red Line station in Quincy Center and stuff. That's a big bus.
It was the 240 or 230.
Yeah,
they
something
go,
like that.
They go by my house all the time.
Yep. So hey, that's great stuff. So I can't wait to see this going on. Let's get into the entertainment booth. In the entertainment booth, rest in peace. 2 people in entertainment. First and foremost, you saw before this show, this guy performed last week, 2 weeks ago. This guy was a legend. Ozzy Osbourne. Man, look, I saw years ago, I liked Ozzy, but years ago I went down to Rock Heaven, got my Motley Crue shirt, because Motley Crue opened up for Ozzy Osbourne at the Bark at the Moon tour at the Garden many, many years ago.
Wow.
And Motley Crue was just coming out. Shout at the Devil was the album, and not one band traveling that year wanted to put Motley Crue on their bill. Why? Because Motley Crue was hot. They were all over MTV. Ozzy says, hey, you can come on tour with me. Now, Bark at the Moon, that wasn't that big of an album, that album. Ozzy says, you know what? Bring them on. Because he knew they're a hot band. I'm going to make money regardless. And that concert took place in Boston. Motley Crue blew Ozzy off the stage that night. Blew him off the stage. Motley was so hot that night that when Ozzy came out, they were still cheering for Motley. But here's the thing. Ozzy didn't have this ego like most of these people have today. Ozzy was like a proud dad. Like, this is the next big thing, and they're opening up for me. Ozzy was that type of guy. Rest in peace, Randy Rhoads, who would have been one of the best guitarists of all time. Randy Rhoads was about to change the industry in guitars. He was doing this rock orchestra type, hybrid type music, and unfortunately he lost his life in that plane crash. But Ozzy and Sharon have been behind the scenes. I don't think people realize how much Ozzy meant to the rock music industry of making bands who they were. And you said that you were also a big fan of Ozzy Osbourne yourself?
Well, I mean, I grew up with Ozzy. I would have loved to have gone to a concert, but who doesn't love Crazy Train and biting bats off heads off of bats? And he did. Randy Rhoads was one of the most amazing guitarists that pretty much ever lived. And that, changed the whole trajectory of everybody's career at that point. But yeah, I think I'm sure I had friends at that Motley Crue concert with Ozzy, and then Ozzy started Ozfest, which launched a lot of careers for the heavy metal industry. I'm not big on heavy metal, but I love Crazy Train. Ozzy was a lot of fun when he did the biting of the bats and all that, and kind of losing his mind. I mean, I was kind of what, 12 years old, 10, 11,
Right.
12.
That was a big deal. That was a big
Early
deal.
80s, but we wanted to go to the shows, but mom's not going to let 12-year-olds go to the show. I might have even been 10 years old. I'm not even sure what year. What was that? 78, 79?
Yeah,
But yeah,
it was there. It was
yeah,
it's the funny thing was that I remember the whole story. It was huge. It was a huge story, and he thought the bat was a fake bat, and he bit the head off. But here's the funny thing. I
he
always
was
tell
like a
people,
devil worshiper.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
I always tell people, if there was something in pulp culture that you would love to bring into social media today, Ozzy biting the head off a bat would be something I know would be viral on. I could just see all the memes today. If this was today of Ozzy Osbourne biting a bat, the memes would be just out of control, like we just have a Coldplay. I mean,
This got right. There's got to be some video out there somewhere. There has to be. It's probably happening right now as we talk. Somebody's making there's got to be video of Ozzy doing that.
So
I think.
Here's
Well,
the
yeah,
crazy
it's got to
thing.
be.
Here's the crazy thing. It's tough because I used to go to a lot of concerts back in the day. And remember, back in the day, it was strictly forbidden to bring any type of camera into any concert. You were thrown out. You were arrested.
Exactly. Arrested.
And now
exactly.
today you go to a concert and everybody's like, put your cameras up. Show your cameras, because it's a marketing tool.
Instead of lighters, people are putting up their phone, the flashlights,
It's a great marketing tool.
The Grateful Dead let people bring in cameras. They were always smart about that. They let people tape their shows and they spread it all around.
Weren't they one of the first to kind of really start that? The Grateful Dead was kind of one of the first to really start allowing people to bring the cameras in. And now people realize that someone bringing a camera into the concert is the equivalent of social media keeping up with the Joneses. A lot of people saw, Taylor Swift, people at Taylor Swift concerts, and now people are posting they're at the Taylor Swift concert. And I felt this way when I saw all the people at Wu-Tang last week, and I'm like, oh my God. Look at all my friends at Wu-Tang, and I didn't go. And now I'm like, well, the next time they come around, trust and believe. So it's almost like that keeping up with the Joneses type thing,
right?
As far as the concerts go. So
where did Wu-Tang play?
They were at the Garden with Run the Jewels. Yeah, at the Garden. I wish I was there. Unfortunately, I had the adulting going on.
And I still, like I went to James Taylor at Tanglewood July 3rd, and I've never been to Tanglewood. And James Taylor, that's basically his home turf. From Stockbridge to Boston, he is a big, huge part of that whole Tanglewood world. And I know he's an old timer, and he was 77. He's 77 years old, and it was a good show, but it did feel like an era is changing. Like all of these, 60s, 50s. I mean, the 50s are done almost. Is there anybody left from the Connie Francis just died? That whole era you know, where are we going? You know, where are we going from there? But Wu-Tang, you know, kind of the same thing. You know, Run DMC, they're old like us.
Yeah, exactly. So big ups, you know, Ozzy was a trendsetter, and you know, rest in peace to him. Also, another guy passed away, accidental drowning, 54 years old. Malcolm Jamal Warner, probably one of the first positive young black males in television in the 90s. You know, in the 90s, there was a lot of violent black images on television and in the movies in the 90s and early 80s. But you turned in and you saw The Cosby Show, and you had this young kid, Theo Huxtable, and, you know, he was this kid that everybody, America, fell in love with. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Asian, or whatever. You loved Theo Huxtable. And Malcolm Jamal captured that role and became kind of a household name, you know.
He was a household name. I wouldn't say kind of. He absolutely was.
This guy did a lot.
I had a crush on him.
And it's funny because that goes down as one of the, you know, all-star cast, family cast of all time. But yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away, 54 years old, in an accidental drowning. Tragic stuff. So pretty sad about that. Not good. Also,
Very
in the entertainment.
surprising.
Yeah, I gotta find out exactly when they're gonna probably release exactly what happened, but again, it's just a tragic story. Also, in the entertainment booth to close it out, Vision Quest, which is the next Disney Plus series. Vision Quest has wrapped up filming, so that will now go to the editing board, and we should start seeing some trailers or teaser trailers for the next few months or so. But I can't wait because the Vision character in the MCU has been pretty good. In the sports booth, only one quick story, and I gotta mention it. This weekend, the Brockton Rocks on Saturday, the day of my friggin' charity ride, the Brockton Rocks is doing a Star Wars doubleheader. I just saw the R2-D2 Brockton Rocks jerseys that they're going to wear during this doubleheader. I'm hoping that we'd be able to buy one of these jerseys. But again, it's a Star Wars themed doubleheader with fireworks on Saturday night. So please get down there, buy your tickets. Man, I wish I was in town. So it's a doubleheader. I'm hoping I might be back in time.
Fun.
Yeah. I'm hoping I'm back in time to maybe catch that second game.
How long's the ride? How long is your ride? I saw that.
We should be back. We should be back about 4:00, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. If that second game doesn't begin around until like 7, I might be good to pop into that second game. Make sure I have on all my Star Wars paraphernalia. Also, let's get into the legal booth. In the legal booth, look, here we go. And you probably would have never have thought I would have talked about FIFA in the legal booth. FIFA 26. So here is how this rumor and why it's in the legal booth. They just had a FIFA qualifier game overseas, and they had to move it from Qatar because of the extreme heat. When they moved this game because of the extreme heat, it started this whole discussion up about what is going on with this administration and the immigration policies and ICE running around like crazy people, snatching up people with, you know, as much as they wanted to say it was criminals, they're snatching up people who are legal, they're snatching up each and everybody. And there was a thought put out there from FIFA, because it's here in 2026. They were worried, I saw a lot of people saying fake news. I saw Steve Piener on my page, and you know, it's easy for everybody to say it's fake. It's not fake news. It's a real concern of FIFA, because you've got a whole group of people who are going to be coming to United States next year for FIFA. A lot of people coming here, and the last thing you need is to have ICE swooping into Gillette Stadium in the parking lots and snatching up people who are here legally temporarily to see the FIFA and be involved with FIFA. Because some of these people are going to be coming here a year ahead of time. There's going to be people here to set up communications and things of that sort for this event. They're going to be here months ahead of time. And we don't need that. We don't need that bad press. And you know, part of me, I got to put my conspiracy hat on. Part of me, and put my metal tin cap on. Part of me thinks FIFA started this rumor because, as we've seen with social media in this world, sometimes bad press is good press. And I feel like FIFA may have started this whole thing about moving FIFA to Canada in 2026 and not Boston. I think they started this whole thing. That's with my 10 cap on. But if I take my 10 cap off, I just got to say, I think it's a legitimate question for them to pose. Like I said, the way ICE has been snatching people up, that's the last thing you need is people snatched up. Your thoughts on that?
Well, did you watch the FIFA, the Club World Cup this go round with Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea and
Yes.
Trump and the
Oh, don't get me
started. Why is he on the podium? Why is he on the podium congratulating? Because they are sucking up to him. And I wonder now that you say that, are they basically trying to suck up to him so he'll stop arresting people or just not arrest people in the parking lot of FIFA World Cup games?
Maybe you might be right there. 'Cause the team wasn't happy about him staying up there. The team was very
I don't
vocal
blame
about
them.
it, and I don't blame them. Yeah,
I don't know. I was shocked that but you know what, FIFA, since I've been a little girl, since I was a little kid, has been the most corrupt, chauvinist, and misogynist organization that pretty much probably is on the face of the earth. Besides maybe North Korea and, I don't know, maybe El Chapo. They don't treat women so well unless they're their own women. But yeah, FIFA's really not my favorite bunch. Women at one point could never, ever actually ref in the World Cup. I
Right.
believe that has changed. But
Mhm.
now, back then, we were lucky they let us on the field. So that changed a lot. But still, what is that guy doing with Trump on the stage? So
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and
Maybe
they said the president of FIFA was trying to get him off, but again, like I said, there's a reason why I put the tin cap on, because I feel like FIFA has been known to do some dirty stuff, and I feel like bad press is good press. It would not surprise me if they started this conversation to generate bad press to boost people coming into FIFA regardless. So I feel that way. Let's get into the Trump troubles. Got only 2 topics, and then we're going to get ready to get out of here because I got turnbuckles and spilt liquor. So in the Trump troubles, here's the funny thing, people. President Trump lashed out at Obama, calling for this investigation that happened in 2016. Now, this is when he was running for office. And people, I see a lot of people out here talking about Obama is a treasonous, he should be in jail. I saw Tulsi Gabbard talking about this, and DOJ, and people. Here's the thing, and you all are pissing me off. I was in New York the day after Prince died when President Trump announced he was running for president. I came on this show the following Tuesday and put it as one of my story points that President Trump was running for president. Crickets. Nobody cared about President Trump. And let's be real honest here. The Republicans didn't even care about President Trump running for president until they had nobody else to run for them, and he pretty much forced that nomination down their throats because they felt he was a Democrat in disguise. And now all of a sudden he's a Republican, can't do nothing wrong. And it's MAGA all abound. Here's the funny thing, people. The reason why he was investigated by the FBI under the orders of Obama is because he was connected to the Russians. He was connected to the Russians. Donald Trump has been connected to Putin and the Russian mafia. If you know anything about sports, and if you know anything about the world of professional boxing, before President Trump even got elected, one of the last things he had to do in New York in the Trump Towers was that he had to get the Russian mafia out of there, who was renting up all the penthouses and running Russian mafia business in boxing. Come on, people, stop it. So when you're out here saying that Obama should go to jail, no, they had every right to investigate his connections to Russia for the connections he had with the Russian mafia, going way back to the days of boxing in the 80s and the 90s, when he was sitting there on HBO and Putin was sitting right there next to him during these boxing matches. So people, stop it. Stop it. Common sense, do your homework. Hashtag do your homework. I'm crazy about, and Tulsi Gabbard, shame on you for stepping up here and going along with this nonsense. When somebody runs for president, they have to be vetted, right?
They do. They do. They do. I second the motion. I agree with you completely.
It's the deepest, deepest vetting that they have to do. And
sit down.
Sit down.
I mean, Trump's been married to 2 Russian women. 3? I've lost track. How many is it? You know, he, as soon as he possibly could, he went over there to make money and, you know, whatever. All I'll say is whatever they found out, you know, hopefully it was worth it. But Trump and Obama going to jail, absolutely not.
And so here's what really bothered me about this whole thing. A lot of people love this. I hate it because I come from an environment where if you're elected as president, you should remain in a professional standpoint. He took Metallica's music and used Metallica's music without their permission, got a cease and desist order. He put his face on the Superman poster without their permission. He got a cease and desist from DC to stop it. Then he puts the White House itself, and the POTUS social media puts out an AI video of Obama sitting next to President Trump in the White House and getting arrested by the FBI. And I see all the MAGA nitwits out there applauding this and laughing at it, and I'm like, that's unprofessional. I'm sorry. If you're a president, you're supposed to keep yourself at a higher standard. When you do things like that, this is why we have what we have right now in society, why we think people can do the things. This is why there are people down at HR right now thinking that they have freedom of speech, but they don't, and they're losing their jobs. Why am I losing my job? Because I said this. Because you don't have freedom of speech. you don't have that at your job. When you start talking out the side of your neck about people's race and color and things of that sort, and now this whole thought you had freedom of speech is extending to social media. There are people now losing their jobs, teachers, doctors, professionals losing their jobs over things that they're posting on social media. So
they should probably lose their jobs for not knowing that they shouldn't spout off online about things that pertain to your job.
So, and here's the funny thing before we get out of here, because we're at 8:33. You know, I saw a nurse. She was crying because she was fired. She lost her job, but she had posted this horrendous racial stuff on her Facebook page. Horrendous racial stuff. She was a nurse, and she was on TV crying about, why did I get fired? My Facebook page is this. And the hospital come right out and said it. They said the reason why she was fired is because they could not trust her ability to fairly do her job. That's scary. Her views were so scary online that the hospital felt that they could not trust her views in her ability to do her job. In other words, she was so racist that they felt that she could have been passing people of color over in their care at the hospital. That's absolutely crazy.
That's really bad. So where was this? Where did this happen? I don't remember.
It was here in Massachusetts. It was here in Massachusetts.
I've heard a bunch of things, but I'm not sure.
She was on the south. She was on the South Shore. If you look it up, the nurse that was fired, it was here on the South Shore, and it was crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Steve Hook is in. I'm gonna actually. Steve Hook's in the chat. Great show as usual, Keith. I gotta put Steve Hook on the hook here. Steve Hook has been out here, Brockton politics. He was right beside Bill Carpenter all the time. Are we seeing Steve Hook run this year? I'm putting it out there. He's in the chat. I see him in YouTube, and I'm just putting it out there right now. Is Steve Hook running this year? He can either answer yes or he can answer no, or he could put maybe. But Steve Hook, that question's to you. Because he's involved with Brockton Emergency Management Agency, BEMA. He does a great job down there. He actually came on this show when we had the tornadoes roll through the city of Brockton and messed up the south side. So,
that's right. It's
he
an
does a
important
good job down there. Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I
Yeah.
actually volunteered and helped out, and I think I first met Steve, the Campello elderly high rise down there. Their generators went. They had lost power, and
Oh, wow.
it was myself, Jacob Tagger, my wife at that time. We saw the messages on Facebook, and we actually went down to see what was going on. We started helping out, and then Steve Hook and Bill Carpenter showed up, and they got pizzas, water, and everybody got together as a community and political, and helped these people out. We went door to door and gave people food at the Campello High Rise. It was a big deal, and that's how I first met Steve Hook. Was during that event. So great stuff. Clancy Lee says, all people running, but how's qualified? Well, this is why you got to tune into the booth, Clancy. This is why you got to tune in and listen to people like Lisa here, who's running for Ward 6. And then earlier we had Moises Rodrigues on. Both these people will come on. You want to go back and watch the podcast on YouTube, and you can see exactly what these people are speaking. And I love having all you guys come on here and speak from the heart and show your emotion on this show. Somebody said that's kind of what happens when people come on this show. They said I make them feel a certain way, so I'm glad that I can do that. So once again, please tell people how they can follow you in your cause.
Well, my name again is Lisa Crowley, and I'm running for Ward 6 City Councilor. And I can be found on Facebook at Crowley for Ward 6. And my website is crowleyforward6.org. I'm still building my website, so bear with me. It's informative. It has my email on there. You can email me at crowleyforward6@gmail.com, or you can email me at LE as in Elizabeth, Crowley, CROWLEY1 @yahoo.com. And my cell phone is 339-987-0132. Thank you so much, Keith, for having me on. It is fun. You've always been a fun interview. I've seen you live, so it was at least I was ready for what was going to happen. I love pop culture as well, so it's I'm not just a one-dimensional person.
No, Felicia is in the chat. Felicia says, this is my first time hearing from Lisa. I think she's great, and I think it's great that she's running. Good luck. That's coming from chat. And for those who are watching the show, down below, that's Obama's statement on this whole crazy stuff with Trump. And Obama pretty much did a mic drop, of course, and he pretty much says the findings were affirmed in the 2020 report by a bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee led by, here's the big mic drop, led by Chairman Marco Rubio. Woo! Mic drop from Obama. Marco Rubio was the investigator. Boom. Wow. Wow.
You know what? Now I question the whole investigation. Like, I don't think these people know what they're doing. So
that's awesome. Clancy asked, why doesn't the city own the complex land? Because it doesn't. It's Ruckus was owned it. That's why.
Yeah, well, it should, but yeah, I know, Clancy is.
Private investors are taking it over. So let's get ready to get out of here. Great stuff. Let me get into these upcoming events that are coming up. These are the banners.
Is it okay if I jump off? I want to thank you so much, but I've got
sure, go ahead.
Call I got to make. Thank you, Keith, and thank you, everyone. We will see you out there.
All right, take care, Lisa.
Thank you.
All right, bye. All right, so Lisa's jumping off here. We're gonna get into getting out of here because I have my show coming up at 9:30. Turnbuckles and Spell Liquor. Brockton Police Cadet Program is recruiting now. Also, Emerge Career, $75,000 you can make as a CDL driver if you were incarcerated, and if your cases are all cleared up, you can reach out to Emerge Career to try to get your CDL. Journey Church in Kentucky, Bardstown. Thursdays and Sundays is the food pantry, 3 to 6, 10:30. Also Saturdays at Bishop's. Training and fitness, Stay Young Fitness. Get your kids down there. It's free. It's a good event. Stay Young Fitness. Lionel Boog's young. Also, as I mentioned during the show, Star Wars doubleheader takes place July 26th. I'm not sure if I'm going to be back in time from my ride. If I am, I'll be there for the second game. Run the Home Base takes place July 26th, this Saturday also at Fenway Park. It's a 5K run or a 9K walk to support Veterans Health. There it is again. That's my ride that's taking place. We are leaving from Westgate Mall at about 12:30 to meet the second group at South Bay. And then also July 26th, Saturday, Families First, 50 State Day, Peaceful Action for Families. This is going to be in Boston. They're standing out at Harrison Boulevard. And then the city of Brockton is announcing the police officer exam open houses. Please attend one of the open houses on Saturday, July 26th at the Brockton Public Library or the Brockton Police Department on Wednesday. Mini Mechanic Summer Program, 6 weeks. Register now. This is probably almost fully registered and almost over. We're halfway through the summer. We're getting ready to head into August. Also, the first annual Celebrity Pro-Am race takes place on August 7th at Supercharged Entertainment. You saw Laverne Gordon on this show. And then the Ride for Peace, August 17th, $20 donation. That ride will be leaving from the IBEW Hall in Dorchester and will finish at the VFW in Onset. And don't forget the free warrior yoga for veterans and first responders every other Wednesday. The next ones coming up are August 6th and August 20th at the library. And then I think it's August 8th is the day for the drawing for the Broken Chains Biker Church. You have a chance to win that 2005 Iron Horse Outlaw. And then, hey, August 22nd and 23rd, it's the 100th anniversary of DW Field Park in the Tower. Make sure to come down from noon to 7. And then Black-owned business Brockton, every Saturday in August, they will be focusing on a Black-owned restaurant. Tambu Bistro is on August 10th. Sunrise Steakhouse is on August 17th. I think Club Stalo is August 31st. And then we have the Brockton Youth Family Fun Day, the 7th annual one. It's going to take place on August 31st. And then don't forget, Stephen Montero Memorial Golf Tournament takes place at DW Field Course September 15th in 2025. Make sure to reach out to Craig Pina. And don't forget, the Brockton's Market happens every Friday until August 22nd. Actually, October 23rd. Actually, it goes till. And then thank you, Moises Rodrigues, for coming on the show. His team actually sent me the updated banner. If you're running for any type of office, please send me your banners. Get in on here and let me know that you're coming on. Jamal Brathwaite is running for Ward 6 City Council. John Bradley Durancourt is running for mayor. Steve Hook, if you're in that chat, I'm looking to see if you posted anything in that chat. And that's it, people. That is it. I want to thank everybody for coming on the show, hanging out with me. It's been great stuff. All the guests for coming on the show. And I got to get ready to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And for those of you who want me to make some type of announcement or something that I'm not doing it yet. I'm not jinxing myself. I got to go down to City Hall and get some things taken care of. And then we go from there. Other than that, thank you, everybody, for tuning in the show. SpongeBob, do me a favor and take us home.
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine, but your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, bitch, don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstated, y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit. It's like I'm my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting. Guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's whobazoo.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.